Imagine this, you step into a time machine, travel back to the 1970s, walk into a Ford, GM, or Chrysler dealership, and show any salesperson a picture of what their showroom will look like in 2025. They look at the screen. No sedans. No full-size family cars. Just rows and rows of SUVs and trucks. And they would probably say, "That's impossible." Because if there was one thing that defined the American dream on four wheels, it was the sedan. A father behind the wheel, a mother in the passenger seat, two kids in the back, luggage in the trunk, windows down, radio on, and the open highway stretching towards summer vacation. If there was one vehicle that symbolized stability, progress, and belonging, it wasn't a Lamborghini, it wasn't a Ferrari, it wasn't a pickup truck. It was the sedan. And yet, today it's practically gone. So how did America go from loving sedans to killing them almost completely? Today, we're going to break down the whole story. Not just the rise and the fall, but the psychology, the culture, the money, the emotional connection, and the brutal business decisions that erased an icon. And also, whether the sedan will ever return. Intro transition, but before we jump into the history of the sedan, I want to show you something that genuinely surprised me. When you drive as much as I do, especially in busy cities at night, safety footage matters. And recently I've been testing something that might actually change the dashcam game. The Red Tiger F17 Elite. It's the world's first full-color dash cam with InSenView night technology, and I still can't believe the clarity. The interior cabin view is bright, readable, and detailed, even under streetlights at 2 a.m. The front camera shoots 4K, powered by Sony Starvis 2 sensors on both front and rear channels, meaning you can actually zoom in and read license plates from 5 meters away, even in mixed lighting. It's a true 3-channel setup, front, rear, and interior, all with HDR so you don't get blinding headlights or dark black corners. And the touchscreen? Beautiful. No more confusing buttons or menus. You can change resolution, control modes, toggle voice commands, all with a tap. And with Wi-Fi 6, transferring footage to your phone takes seconds instead of minutes. If you're serious about documenting your drives, for safety, peace of mind, or just recording your road experiences, this thing nails it. Check it out with the link in the description and use my exclusive discount code. Alright, now let's go back in time. The birth of the American sedan. Before the sedan emerged, cars were closer to motorized horse carriages. Shaky, open-top, dusty, freezing in winter, burning hot in summer, and absolutely brutal on long trips. People did not travel in early cars, they endured them. Trips were loud, uncomfortable, exhausting, and unpredictable. But then came the breakthrough, the enclosed passenger cabin. A roof overhead, sealed windows, comfortable seats, insulation from the weather, and most importantly, a sense of private space. This wasn't just technology. It was dignity. Suddenly, people could take long journeys, visit family in another state, see the coastline, explore national parks, go somewhere for Christmas, and be warm the whole way. Freedom was reborn. And as roads improved, Americans didn't just want a car anymore, they wanted a nice car. Something comfortable. Something that felt like home on wheels. And that's when the enclosed car body evolved into something elegant, practical, refined, the sedan. By the 1910s and 1920s, it wasn't just a vehicle. It became a lifestyle. Ford's Model A and Chevrolet's Master Series didn't only sell because they were cars. They sold because they represented belonging. For the first time in history, the average American family could be mobile together. The sedan wasn't about horsepower or luxury at first. It was about family. The golden age, 1950s and 1960s, then came the era that turned the sedan into cultural mythology. World War II ended, soldiers came home, families expanded, suburban housing exploded, and the interstate highway system rolled out across the country like veins connecting the American dream. The driveway became a symbol. You didn't just see a car, you saw a story. A Pontiac Bonneville in the driveway meant ambition. A Buick Electra meant prosperity. A Cadillac Fleetwood meant you made it. These weren't just cars. They were trophies of life progress. The 1950s drenched sedans in chrome, jet-inspired rocket fins, wraparound windshields, and space-age dashboards. Cars reflected America's optimism. Everything was possible. The future was bright. The world was moving fast. The 1960s refined the formula. Cars got smoother, quieter, bigger, stronger. Comfort became the new performance. Instead of racing, people wanted to glide. The suspension floated, the engines hummed, the seats felt like sofas. A sedan was a piece of identity. It told your neighbors who you were, what you valued, what direction your life was heading. It was a declaration every time you pulled into the driveway. And then everything changed. The collapse. The 1970s were supposed to continue the celebration. But history had other plans. First came the oil crisis of 1973. Gas prices rocketed. Long lines formed at fuel stations. Suddenly, the giant V8-powered American sedan, once a symbol of pride, became a financial burden. People didn't hate their sedans. They simply couldn't afford to feed them. Then came the foreign invasion: Toyota Corolla, Honda Accord, Datsun 510. These were not glamorous, but they were reliable. They started every time. They ran for hundreds of thousands of miles. They sipped fuel instead of devouring it. People didn't switch because of styling. They switched because reliability became the new luxury. And Detroit didn't react fast enough. Instead of reinventing the sedan from the inside out, the Big Three repackaged the same engineering with slightly different grille designs and chrome trims. Image stayed the priority. Function did not. And the cracks spread. The 1980s, a temporary comeback then. A spark of hope. Front-wheel drive arrived. Cars became roomier inside, safer in bad weather, easier to control, and more efficient. And then Ford changed everything with a single vehicle, the Ford Taurus. Aerodynamic curves, futuristic interior, modern engineering. Not just different, but forward-looking. For a moment, America believed again. The sedan wasn't dead. It evolved. Honda and Toyota didn't laugh, they adapted too. The Accord and Camry became unstoppable because they didn't just improve one model year. They improved every model year with relentless discipline. Meanwhile, American automakers fell into a new trap: badge engineering. One platform, many versions, different names, same car. Quality dipped, identity blurred. A sedan was no longer a dream purchase. It was just transportation. And while the sedan was losing emotional value, something else was rising. The final blow: 2010s to 2025 SUVs and trucks didn't take over because people suddenly hated sedans. SUVs took over because they sold the feeling sedans used to sell: pride, confidence, status. People didn't want just a car. They wanted something that made them feel bigger, safer, more capable, maybe even more powerful. And the automakers noticed something else: SUV profit margin, sedan profit margin. Building a sedan was expensive and low profit. Building a crossover was cheaper, easier to certify, more profitable, and more marketable. And the execution was ruthless. Ford killed the Fiesta, Focus, Fusion. GM killed the Malibu, Impala, Regal. Chrysler kept the 300 until it also died. Today, the only mainstream American sedans left are the Cadillac CT4 and CT5, and even they survive on borrowed time. Ask a kid today to draw a car. Most of them will draw an SUV. The icon that once symbolized the American dream is disappearing. The future. Will the sedan come back? There was one comeback story, maybe the only one: Tesla. The Model S and Model 3 revived the sedan not through nostalgia, not through Hollywood, not through advertising, but through innovation. Technology, software, electrification, acceleration, safety. The sedan retranslated for a digital generation. But here's the twist. Even Tesla sells more Model Y crossovers than Model 3 sedans. So, is the American sedan dead? Realistically, yes. Economically, yes. Culturally, yes. Emotionally, not yet. Because underneath the market charts and business decisions and fuel economy tables, people still remember the sedan the way people remember an old family photo. Not perfect, but priceless. There will come a day, maybe because of fuel prices, maybe because of traffic, maybe because of environmental policy, maybe because of lifestyle shifts, when the world needs a car that is aerodynamic, efficient, low-drag, low-cost, family-friendly, safe, and elegant. And on that day, the sedan has the best odds of coming back. Because SUVs are about possibility. But sedans were about belonging. And belonging always finds a way. Inclusion plus CTA, whether you miss the golden days of American sedans, or you love the new SUV-dominated world. One thing is certain. Cars tell the story of who we are. And for nearly a century, no vehicle told that story better than the classic four-door sedan. If you enjoyed this deep dive into automotive history, help this channel grow, smash that like button, drop a comment about your favorite classic sedan memory, and subscribe so you don't miss the next automotive storytelling documentary. Drive safe, appreciate the road, and I'll see you in the next one.